There's no such thing as stupid questions, but especially in the fitness industry, because when you are first getting started, this shit can be so confusing. If you don't know me, my name is Haley and I'm your realistic and balanced bestie, helping you build a stronger brain and body. I accidentally took a little bit of a hiatus because I moved. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a very different background than me sitting on the floor of my old apartment. So very exciting, big things, absolutely gorgeous apartment. I am so in love. I wake up every single day and I'm like, is this my real life? But anyways, very short little hiatus and we are back. We're back on a grind. I lost my SD cards somewhere in the move, so it was an accidental hiatus, but I'm kind of glad that it happened. I feel like I needed a little bit of time to adjust. All that being said, today we are talking about the 10 most common questions that beginners have when they're starting their fitness journey. And I'm kind of basing this not only on my personal experience, questions that I've been asked over 7-8 years of training, but also things that I've seen people ask on social media, things that I have seen people asking in the comment section of really popular fitness influencers that just never get an answer to the question, and things that my good bestie ChatGPT told me are the most common questions. So if you are not already subscribed to my YouTube channel here, please take a second and make sure that you click the subscribe button, because it is so helpful to me, and also it lets me know that you like the kind of content that I'm putting out. So our very first question that we are going to be answering is how to stay motivated, which yes is true, but it's not very helpful. And now I could give you a really long ass lecture about how motivation isn't real and discipline is what you need to strive for. What is helpful is deciphering what your personal motivation style is. So do you feel more motivated when you're switching things up every single day and you kind of feel like things are always new and fresh? Or do you feel more motivated when you have a very strict schedule and a routine that's really on the dot, nothing changes that much, and you know what to expect every single day? Maybe you like a little bit of a mix of both. Whatever it is, you have to really find what your style is and what works best for you. And once you know your style, then you can begin to take action in a way that's actually aligned with what works best for you and not what works best for somebody else. Because I think why a lot of people fail is they see their favorite influencer or they see somebody in their life doing something a certain way and maybe having a very strict schedule, but that's not what works for them. Maybe they want to switch things up and do a Pilates class one day, maybe a boxing class the next day, do a run the third day, or maybe they just want to go on walks, but they're looking at this other person who is strictly going to the gym 5-6 days a week, and they're like, well, if I want to start going to the gym or if I want to have a fitness journey, I have to do what she's doing, and that's just not actually what aligns with them. So they're failing in their mind because they're not sticking to what this person does. And my biggest beef in the era of TikTok is the fact that we've kind of demonized certain exercises, and there's a lot of people who will say things like, you shouldn't do this exercise, you should do this one instead. But in reality, there's really no such thing as a bad exercise as long as it's an exercise that you're doing with proper form and you're not about to injure yourself doing this exercise. The truth is that a good mix of the basic exercises is really all you need, especially as a beginner. And yeah, it can be fun as you get more advanced to look for different variations and look for ways to challenge yourself on certain moves, but the reality is you don't need to be doing all that. I really feel like we've lost the plot because I feel like so many beginners look at people on TikTok or Instagram and they're like, well, if I want to see results, I need to be doing this heel elevated cast glute bridge for 1 1/4 reps every 3 days in order to see any results, and I can't do that. So I'm just never going to start my fitness journey because that's just not something I can do. But in reality, if they just started with a dumbbell glute bridge, they would see so much more results because they're actually doing anything at all. The third most common question is, how long does it take to actually see results? So let's talk about an actual timeline here and what it looks like. So in the first 2 weeks, your body is kind of adjusting to what's going on. It's getting used to moving, and it's getting used to moving your body in the certain way that you're moving it for your workouts. So you're not really going to see any physical changes yet, but this is when your body is more so just adjusting. So you're going to have a lot of muscle soreness, which obviously is very normal, and you might notice some slight improvements in your mood and your energy levels during this time. In weeks 3 and 4, your body's starting to kind of adjust to this. It's getting a little bit stronger stronger. You're gonna feel like you're getting more comfortable doing different movements, and you're probably gonna start noticing some slight improvements in the weight that you're actually lifting. So you're gonna be like, oh, I can actually lift this weight this week. Last week, this felt a little bit harder, but this week it's moving pretty easily. And this is the time that you really wanna make sure that you're pushing to actually get stronger in every exercise that you're doing week to week, so that you can take advantage of the fact that this is kind of your body's prime time. Like in your first 12 to 16 weeks of working out, this is when your body is the most adaptable. So you're going to be noticing a little bit faster changes than somebody who's been going to the gym for a long time, or somebody who's 5 or 6 years into their fitness journey. By weeks 5 and 6, you're going to really notice those strength gains, especially if you've been actually pushing yourself and using progressive overload as you go through your workout. You're going to feel like you can work out for a little bit longer without getting as fatigued, and you're probably going to notice a little bit better coordination and just how your body moves overall, even when you're doing day-to-day things. So you might go to pick up a bag of groceries and you're going to be like, oh, I'm picking this up with proper form, or oh, I'm kind of engaging my core as I do this. You're going to notice a little bit smaller things that are actually making such a big difference in your life. Now, for beginners, especially in weeks 5 and 6 is when you're probably going to start to actually notice some kind of muscle definition. What is on my face? Was nobody going to tell me I had an eyelash right here? How rude. Weeks 7 and 8 are when you're probably going to start to notice some real actual results in your body. And whether you're taking progress pictures or taking measurements on a consistent basis, you're going to really start to notice some drastic differences during this week 7 to 8 mark. Weeks 9 to 12 are when you're really going to see kind of the magic happen. And this is why most workout programs and any kind of program that you're following is probably going to be 12 weeks, because that's how long it takes to really notice some actual results. This is the time where your metabolism has probably increased. You're probably really noticing some muscle definition here, and you're probably having people start to ask what you're doing differently at this point. Now then you've got the 3 to 6 month mark, which is obviously going to be where your body is really adjusting to this lifestyle, and you're going to notice a complete 180 shift from the end of those 6 months to when you started. And this kind of goes for the 6 to 12 month mark as well, when by the end of a 12-month consistency in following a fitness routine, you are going to be a completely brand new person. Now, the fourth most common question is, when should I stretch? And should I stretch at all? Now, stretching is key, which I personally hate to hear, because I hate stretching. I think it's very boring, and I really do have to force myself to do it. But it is so helpful for preventing injury and just making you a little bit more limber and able to do more of your exercises and really get proper form in the exercises that you are doing. So before you do a workout, you want to try to do dynamic stretching. So this is going to be stretches where you're kind of moving through the motion. So thinking things like arm circles, maybe a runner's lunge. You can do some hip circles here, or even just doing body weight squats or body weight movements in general, kind of priming your muscles and getting them to get used to working through a full range of motion. This is going to be the key before you do a workout, because after you do a workout is when you want to do more static stretching. So this is things like doing a forward fold, or doing a butterfly stretch, or maybe a cross-body arm stretch, anything where you're holding it for more than 5 to 10 seconds. That's going to be done at the end of your workout, because doing a static stretch before your workout has been shown to temporarily reduce your muscle strength and the power output that your body has. And when you're about to lift, you want to make sure that your muscles are primed for strength, not loosened up and less likely to actually give you that maximum effort. If you really love stretching and you really want to do it before your workout, you can move through different stretches in more of a flow type movement. So holding things for less than 5 seconds and just kind of flowing through the movements as you go. That's still an option, but I would recommend doing any longer static stretches at the end of your workout. Question number 5 is, how often should you exercise? And I feel like just this question alone holds a lot of beginners back from starting their fitness journey, because they think that the answer is a lot higher than it actually is. The truth is that lifting as little as 2 to 3 times a week has been shown to still aid in fat loss, build muscle, and give you the mental benefits of working out. And this doesn't even mean that it needs to be 2 to 3 full 60-minute workouts every single time. You could even just do a 20 to 30-minute walk 2 to 3 times a week, and you're still gonna get the benefits of working out 2 to 3 times a week. Now, when it comes to seeing actual physique changes, like if you're sitting here saying, I absolutely want to build some muscle, I want to see my waist get smaller in relation to my hips and my shoulders, and I want to get a defined back, then you're probably going to have to realistically be lifting 3 to 4 times a week minimum to actually start to see those kind of muscle gain results. And of course, working out 3 to 4 times a week is going to give you the internal benefits as well. You're going to feel a lot better and you're going to be moving a little bit better. Your body is just going to feel a lot more energized overall. Question number 6 is, should I eat before my workout? And the answer to this is very heavily based in preference in my experience, but of course there's some general kind of guidelines to follow. So if you're working out any later than probably 10 or 11 a.m., whoa, where did my voice just go? What the heck? So if you're working out any later than 10 or 11 a.m., I would probably recommend eating beforehand and try to eat something that's a little bit more carb based. Anything that has a little bit too much of a healthy fat percentage in it, or even sometimes eating too much protein super close to when you're working out can cause a little bit of digestion issues and can just kind of make you feel a little bit more sluggish as you go throughout your workout. But when you eat more of a carb focused meal before your workout, your body's going to be able to more easily use that for energy, and it's not going to really weigh you down as much as if you're eating something that's super heavy on the fats or a really intense protein meal before you work out. But of course, you really want to play around and kind of find your personal sweet spot, because again, it is going to depend on preference. So if you're working out later in the day, maybe you work out right before you eat dinner or right after dinner, then your pre-workout meal might be a little bit different from mine, because I'm working out at 4:30 in the morning and I'm lucky if I get a Rice Krispie treat in me before I go to my workout. So you really have to kind of test different things out and play around with your proportions of proteins and carbs and fats in your meal to see what helps you actually be the most energized. I know in an ideal world, I really like to get a good meal of oats in before I do a workout, because I find that that is my absolute prime of energy whenever I'm doing a workout, but that's not always realistic, and with my current schedule, that's not the thing that I can actually stick to. So finding something that actually works with you and finding something that works with your schedule and your routine and just something that you're going to actually stick to is the correct answer to this question. You also want to play around with the timing of your meal. So if you are working out later in the day, try testing out if 30 minutes before your workout is the best time for you to eat. Or maybe you need a little bit more time for your food to actually digest. It's going to be completely different for every single person, so you really have to play around with it. Question number 7 is kind of in that same realm, and I hear a lot of people that ask, does it matter when I work out? And the answer seems so simple when you know it, but when you are a beginner, this is such a valid question, because you see so many things about fasted cardio, or you see so many people that work out in the morning, and it kind of makes it seem like that's the better option because so many people do it. But in reality, working out in the morning or working out at night is absolutely completely up to you. There is no magical time of day when your body is going to burn more fat or gain more muscle. It is completely up to what your schedule is, what your routine is, and when you have the most energy to actually work out. Now, it's important to keep in mind that working out is going to give you a little bit of a boost of energy for about 30 minutes to an hour afterwards, sometimes a little bit longer. This is going to depend person to person, but I would just keep that in mind if you're trying to work out at night, because you might find that working out too close to bedtime is actually going to make you feel a little bit more awake, and it's going to make it hard to go to sleep. But that is the absolute only thing that I would say is actually even a factor in deciding whether or not you should work out in the morning or work out at night. And everything else is completely up to your personal preference and when you want to do it and when is most realistic for you to actually go to the gym. Number 8 is, how long should my workouts be? And you're probably going to be sick of me saying this, but it really is up to your routine and your schedule. You can absolutely get incredible results with just 30-minute workouts, or you can take 2 full hours to get your workout in every single day, just because that's what you like to do and you like to spend a little bit more time really taking your time, getting a full rest. Do I think that's necessary? Absolutely not. I used to do it, and I did it purely because I just enjoyed being in the gym. But now that I work a 9-to-5 job, I can't do that anymore. So 45 minutes to an hour is absolutely prime for me, and it still gives me enough of a push to kind of shorten my rest times between circuits and sets and things like that. But I'm not dilly-dallying and just taking my sweet time moseying around on every single machine. So really take a look at your schedule, take a look at what's realistic for you, and take a look at the types of workouts that you want to do. If you're doing super heavy lifting, you are going to take a little bit longer of a rest time in between, which means your workout is probably going to be a little bit longer. But if you're doing kind of a good mix, or if you're doing more of a circuit style training, it's going to take you less time in general to complete your workouts because you have such quick sets and such short rest time in between those sets. And question number 9 is, how much weight should I lift? And this is up to personal preference, and it's going to be different for everybody. Now, I personally like to recommend to my clients, and I actually have it set up like this on my app, for different exercises to give you a guesstimate based on your body weight. So for lateral raises, I might say try to lift 2 to 5% of your body weight on this exercise, because I feel like that gives people kind of a good place to start, whereas other programs and things like that just say do 10 reps of a lateral raise, and then you start doing 10 reps and you're like, I don't know if this is a good amount of weight or not. So what you really want to learn to do is, 1, figure out your failure point. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to try to lift as many reps as you can with that amount of weight when you think in your brain that you're done. Like, this is my stopping point. Stop, take 3 deep breaths, and then try to do that same exact number of reps again, with just that short rest in between. Now, if you can get more than half the same amount of reps after just a super short rest, you're probably not lifting enough, because if you were lifting enough, you shouldn't even be able to get 1 or 2 more reps in after that short of a break, because your body should still be gassed from doing the reps the first time. And this is how I test it, because I still really struggle with pushing myself close to failure, because it's such a mental thing for me, and it's really hard for me to snap myself out of that. So when I do this in my workouts, it actually allows me to be like, okay, I was not pushing hard enough during the last time that I did that set, so this next time I do it, I'm gonna add 10 pounds. And then from there, you can repeat the same exact thing. Try to get as many reps as you can, short breath, try to go back and do the reps again, and then you can kind of gauge it and be like, oh, okay, that time I could literally only do 1 more rep after I took a short break, so that means that I'm probably lifting a good amount of weight now. Now, of course, you never want to start any exercise, especially as a beginner, going super, super heavy and doing something that you physically cannot get off the ground. So you really have to, again, kind of find your sweet spot and find the place that is challenging, but not absolutely impossible, and something that you can get a good form down with. And once you get that form really locked in, that's when you can start to challenge yourself and really push those weights. But don't get stuck in the perfecting your form phase forever, because if you allow yourself to just stay there and be like, oh, I'm just gonna squat the bar for the rest of my life because I'm perfecting my form, you are never gonna get stronger and you're never gonna see any progress, because you are just keeping yourself stuck there. When in reality, once you perfect that form, it only takes about 1 to 2 weeks of really focusing on your form. That is when you need to start leveling it up, adding some weight, maybe 5 to 10 pounds, starting small, but making sure that you are always progressing. But that is the 9 most common questions that people have when they're starting their fitness journey. So I'm curious if this answered any of the questions that you've had, or if you've ever had these questions during your fitness journey. And also, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, please let me know so that I can answer them in maybe an upcoming episode, or I can just answer it right in the comments. If you are looking to start your fitness journey, I do have a fitness and mindset app that I have linked below, and you can get 2 weeks free to really kickstart your journey, especially now that you have all of these wonderful answers to really dive into your fitness journey. But that is all that I've got for you today. So until next time, be kind to your mind, to your body, and to others, and happy healing. Ding!